It's half term and you can't seem to motivate yourself to revise. Do not worry, these are the half term revision hacks that will make you fall in love with revision. Give you my top tips and tricks on today's episode of Sustainable Study Secrets. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another episode of Sustainable Study Secrets, where I give you my top study tips and tricks to help you actually enjoy learning. Today I want to give you my top half-term hacks that you can use to keep yourself motivated to revise and to actually enjoy it. First things first, you need to create yourself a rewards system. I talk about this all the time, but it's the idea that you incorporate rewards into your everyday. So it's not just oh well, if I get straight 9s then I can have this. This is not frequent enough. You need to give yourself a little treat every day. The way I recommend doing this is by incorporating something small into your reward system. So something like when you've done your work, you're allowed to try a new flavour of tea for the day. Or get yourself a little bubble tea. Or even something like going out to see your friends. Say you can go out and see your friends when you have done this amount of work. Incorporate this into your day-to-day. This only starts working when you restrict yourself. As in, when you stop doing those things if you don't revise. So if you didn't do any revision that day, you know what? No, you can't have bubble tea. You need to treat yourself like a child. You didn't do any revision that day? No, you can't go out with your friends. Parent yourself in this way, and this requires some serious self-control. But this is when it really starts working, when you deprive yourself of something, when you don't do something to deserve it. And this is why it has to be light-hearted. It can't be you're depriving yourself of any social contact if you don't do your work, because that is just not good for you. But it does mean that you don't get to have those little luxuries if you don't earn them. And also, when you do get these little luxuries, you enjoy them, and this also reinforces the idea in your head that if you study, you get to have these nice things. Secondly, try doing something different, like cafe hopping. We've all heard of bar hopping, unless you're doing your GCSEs, I hope you haven't. This is the idea that you go out armed with £5 in your pocket and you go hopping between cafes. So you go, you get a drink at a cafe and you do your work. And then only when you've finished your work, you're either allowed another drink or you're allowed to move on to the next cafe. This is nice because it's just a nice switch of environment. It makes it fun. It gives you an incentive to actually, finish your practice papers or to do this much revision because you want to go to the next cafe and explore and try their coffee or try their cakes or something. You can do this with friends and it's just a fun thing that you can do in half term. And remember that you don't always have to get something from a cafe. Just head into town, go with your friends. You don't have to take a boatload of money and buy like an iced frappuccino everywhere you go. You can just have fun, go into a range of different cafes and have a little adventure. Study roulette. This is quite fun. You can get a list of your weakest topics. So those things that you're thinking, oh, I really need to revise. I really don't understand it, or I'm really weak about this specific topic. You get a list of these things and you put them into a roulette generator, and you get this roulette to decide what you are going to study. And this has to be specific. You can't just have like maths, physics, chemistry on the roulette because it's not specific enough. It has to be something like electrolysis, moments, integration, I don't know, it depends, GCSE or A-level or just university students. The things on this study roulette have to be specific. They have to be actionable tasks as well, so maybe maths practice questions on differentiation or something. And this just makes it a little bit more fun. Also, you don't have to decide what you do, because a lot of the time we suffer from choice paralysis. We don't want to decide what we have to do, we don't want to do it, and this just adds a barrier. And making it into a roulette can make it more fun. Next up, we have Study YPT. This is where you get to track when you are studying or when your friends are studying. So this is just a bit motivating because you get to see, oh, my friends are revising right now. Maybe I should be revising. Because it is so common for people to say, oh, I've done no revision. No, I haven't done any revision. No, I'm not even revising. They are. Study YPT helps you track your own success and your friends' success. So you can say, okay, we're all going to lock in today. We're going to hold each other accountable. Study YPT really helps that. This is not an ad. I just found it really, really helpful. Routine. I need to talk about routine because this just makes studying easier. We don't want to study, but if it's a part of our routine, it becomes so much easier. If you say to yourself, I'm going to study for 6 hours straight every day, then you're just going to procrastinate. You're not going to do it. You need to incorporate it into your routine. So you can do 6 hours a day. You can break it up. You can say, okay, when I wake up, I'll do 2 hours of revision. And then I'll have 2 hours off. I'll go and make a breakfast. I'll go on a walk. And then after my lunch, I'll do 2 more hours of revision. And then I'll take a little break. And then I'll go play sport. I'll go out with my friends. I'll go do this. And then I'll get home and just before bed I'll do 2 more hours of revision. Can you see how that day sounds so much more enjoyable than just locking in from the hours of 9 to 3? It also just feels like you have more free time when you break up your work like this, so please do. There's no reason to be sat at your desk for hours and hours and hours at a time. Finally, I'm going to give you the idea of teacher roleplay. This might sound so silly, but it is something fun that you can do with your friends. You can do this over dinner, you can do this over a little hangout, and then your reward for doing work is, hanging out and just chilling together. This is the idea that you can pretend that you're a teacher and your friends are the class. This is mutually beneficial because you are using something called the Feynman technique. So when you are teaching your friends a topic that you're struggling with, by the way, not just any old random 2 times 2 is 4, try and teach them something about nephron reabsorption, GCSE biology, because that's hard. This is helping you because you are explaining it to somebody, and by condensing information into such a digestible format that you can teach somebody else, this is going to really help you retain that information and help you understand it better. But then you'll be teaching your friends as well. You might have made a little PowerPoint for them. You might have been writing on the